Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning in to my channel. My name is The Lady Designer, and today we are back with the final normal episode of our tropical franchise mode series, which we're obviously going to end with a nice zoo tour in the next episode. So in the previous few episodes, we finished the Asian, South American, and African region of our zoo. So in this episode, it's time to finally finish the Oceania house with the Tasmanian devils, starting with a little cinematic tour from the entrance, going towards this area located in Australia to give you guys an idea of where this habitat is located, where we're going to build today. So we're going to start with moving the flooring a little bit to the other side so we have a nice view here of where the path will be. Although I do have to admit that this path will be redone in the later stage because I wanted to create like this road going through the habitat, but it just didn't work out as I wanted to, so I had to redo it anyways later on. Now, as you maybe can tell, franchise mode is pretty bugged since the latest DLC, so yeah, I have to admit, this is not franchise mode anymore. This is sandbox mode because I obviously, just like you guys, am a little bit frustrated with all the issues that franchise mode and the game in general has right now, with like the souvenir shops being so bogged and all. So yeah, I don't really mind, like it's the last episode anyway, so at least when it comes down to the speed build, like for the zoo tour, we obviously would have done it anyways in the sandbox mode, so I think it's all good and fine. So yeah, as you can tell, there is a road right now in the habitat, which I will later be connecting to the main path, and then we're going to make sure that the guests will not be using that path, obviously, like walking through the fences or like the glass barriers that you're seeing. So we're going to add a barrier right underneath there, so to make sure that the guests are not able to walk from one side to the other side. Now, it's a good thing that all the paths are pretty much covered with like these floor panels, because as you can tell, it's like quite a big mess all the way underneath there, but as long as it works and the guests are able to walk everywhere, I think it's totally fine. Now, to give this road more of like an accent, we're obviously going to use some white markings. Now, I normally would have chosen for like these plaster pieces, but actually it's a very good idea to use like, I think it's the eye from the font. Like they're a little bit more playful, if you can call it that way. So I do really like how that is looking on the roadside. So I think that works perfectly fine. I did add a little bit too many markers, so I later on decided to remove a few in the middle to make sure it felt a little bit more realistic, I guess. So as this is sandbox mode, I'm not going to pay too much attention to the size of the habitat. I, at this point, did turn off welfare for the animals, so we're just going to build a nice small habitat for the Tasmanian devils in here without paying too much attention to their welfare. So on the left side of the habitat will be a little bit of a backstage area. In case you're wondering, if you did not see all the episodes, in this Oceania house, we also have the kiwi, which is also having a habitat on the outside of the building and inside of the building. And then we have a platypus habitat with like a nice viewing gallery and also really cool wetlands area. And then this animal will be the last animal of the Oceania house, but you already knew that, of course, because this is the last episode that we're going to do for our tropical franchise mode series. Now, in case you were wondering the past few weeks why I was so focused on finishing up the tropical franchise mode series, in case you did not see the community wall just yet, I actually made an announcement there on the 1st of January. Well, actually, it was an hour before the 1st of January. But anyways, I will make sure to put a link to that community wall post in the description of this video and in the pinned message of the comment section if you want to read it completely. But basically, the thing is, I got a new job, so I did YouTube pretty much to make a living, but as things became a lot more stressful the past year, like fighting the algorithm and stuff, I decided to just choose something else that is not going to stress me out too much anymore. So yeah, YouTube will go back to being more of a hobby for me, with hopefully a video every week or so. At least that is my aim, but I'm not really sure if I'm able to do that, but time will tell, obviously. But yeah, I'm very excited to start a new job in January. So yeah, that is the reason why I really wanted to finish our tropical franchise mode series. So we only have one more ongoing series on the channel, which is in this case, of course, our Eco Island Park. Although for the past few months or so, I also really would love to start something else. So I'm not entirely sure, like I have the complete freedom to do whatever I want on the channel, so maybe we will start something new earlier already before we end the Eco Island Park series. Time will tell, obviously. But just so you guys know why I was really focusing on finishing this series before the end of the year, and then I got COVID and everything was so messed up, so that was quite a pity. But yeah, very happy that we are now actually finishing this series so we can do the end and final tour. We will obviously upload it to the Steam Workshop as well once we are finished, so that is going to be super exciting. But yeah, let's go back and talk about the habitat that we are creating. So we have in the middle of the habitat a road, and the sides of the habitat will be covered with a lot of billboards. The Tasmanian devil likes the temperate biome the most, so that is why I chose for the temperate biome backgrounds. Now, every time I do use these backgrounds, I always get the question, how did you get them? Where can I get these? You can download them via my Discord server. These are pretty much the backdrops that you can also choose for the exhibits. So the backgrounds for the exhibits, and I think it was Eben or someone that sent me them. So you have a few of them. You have the wetlands, you have temperate, desert, I think there's one more, a tropical one, and then they are pretty much flipped. So it's super easy to put down these billboards right next to each other and just having one of the normal picture and then one of the flipped one. And then you can create a pretty nice backdrop in the style of Planet Zoo, which is like the most important thing for me. Like you can download tons of different backdrops via Google, but they're all like not in exactly the same style as Planet Zoo. So that is why I always tend to use these backdrops. And we also did use this one for the kiwi habitat that we created earlier. Now, in case you're wondering, this habitat is indeed inspired of the Taronga Zoo in Sydney, which is also the Tasmanian devil exhibit. So I'm going to call this one the roadside Tasmanian devil habitat or something like that. Now, the cool thing is, in that realistic habitat, they do have this road as well, but then they have like this backdrop where the road will pretty much continue inside of some hills or something. Now, that is obviously not really possible unless I would be super good in using Photoshop and be able to create that. So yeah, I decided to change a little bit of that idea. So we are pretty much creating a dead end here with these barriers that I actually never use, but I think this is just a perfect fit for them, having these fences at the end of the road here, and then making it feel like the road was obstructed with like a lot of branches and rocks and anything like that. So this road has been closed for quite some time now, but I don't know, I just really love the vibe of it, and together with like these signs you see at the sides of the road. And then for decorating the habitat, I simply just chose mostly for plants that are in the temperate biome, not specifically for the Tasmanian devil because that is only Oceania, but I wanted to have a little bit more freedom in the foliage that I was able to use, so that is why I didn't per se select the Oceania biome in this case. Now, since this is a pretty low habitat, I couldn't go too crazy with the trees and stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to still fill up the area, but yeah, also keep it open, being a roadside and stuff. But yeah, I think it definitely looks super nice, and the idea of the road itself, I just absolutely love how it has turned out. And just simply decorating like the rest of the habitat with a few rock work here and there and some small aquatic rocks. Also using like the single aquatic rocks that always when I use them, people ask me like, what pack is that from? I actually don't know. Like, I don't think it's part of the aquatic pack as far as I can tell. We got them later on, and to my memory, we got these small little rocks in a free update, but I actually cannot remember if they did get the tag from the aquatic pack or that these 4 little small rocks are part of the base game. So if anyone can confirm that in the comments down below, that would be just so amazing. Thank you all so much. But yeah, it's a small habitat for the Tasmanian devils, but definitely I'm very happy how it has turned out. Now the roofing of the whole Oceania Nocturnal house, I did close it off with a lot of plaster pieces and stuff, but I did notice that some of the walls were a little bit sticking out of the roof and stuff. But I was like, yeah, well, you know what? There's no one going to see that, at least not from the guests. So yeah, a little bit lazy here, but I'm just not going to fix that roof. I just wanted to close it off, making sure that there are a few windows in the roof to make sure that there is some daylight coming into the habitat. But other than that, we're not going to fix that roof for the edges and stuff. I think it looks totally fine. And yeah, for the backstage area, we're obviously going to use a little bit of the chain link fences. I think I pretty much have my own way of doing the backstage area by now. With just some simple beams and some chain link fences, you're pretty able to just create a little backstage area that looks better than just an empty box, I guess, if you can call it that way. Obviously, the guests won't be able to see the backstage area anyways. Now, at the end, I did decide to cover the edges of the path a little bit more because it was a little bit too straight and I really wanted to give it more of a natural, bit more of an older vibe, if you can call it that way. And I thought like the mulch pieces were just absolutely perfect for that. Actually, I totally forgot at some point that the Tasmanian devils were able to use the burrows. I totally just looked over them when I had the Tasmanian devil enrichment item. So I just totally forgot to make like the perfect spot for the burrow because I just didn't plan it anywhere, but it was pretty easy to put it down later on. So yeah, I'm definitely very excited about this habitat for the Tasmanian devils. Even though it's a small one, I just really like the idea of the roadside. So yeah, without further talking, let's just go and jump into the file one more time and show you guys what we did with this last habitat that we built for a tropical franchise mode series. Alright, here we go, the last habitat tour of a tropical franchise mode series before we do the last zoo tour, that is. So we have the Javolsky's horse habitat right over here. We have 2 paths pretty much. This one is going to Australia and then this one is also going to Australia, but then has like this little sideway. So here we have Australia, we go in, and on the right side we have the Oceania Nocturnal House, which I actually feel like we should have called just Oceania House, but it is fine. If I make it shorter, I don't think it will look as well as it does right now. We have the Kiwi outdoor habitat right over here. This little statue, I think I actually forgot to add some curbs or barriers underneath here. I remember saying that I wanted to have like maybe some staff buildings right over here, but no. It did turn out to be part of the Tasmanian devil habitat, so some fresh air, if you can call it that way. So here we have the Nocturnal House, Oceania House, I should say. And this is the roadside Tasmanian devil habitat. Just look how cool this looks with the road. I actually am surprised that I never saw anything before like this. I just love this idea so much. And I think it just works super well. And it's so easy to create. Like, the eye, as I said, works very well to have a little bit more of a playful line going over this road, which is also not, like, super flat. So it works super well. Okay, I did not... Oh, my OCD cannot handle this. It's not entirely well connected here. But you get the idea, right? And also these little signs, like, obviously we don't have that many signs. There are a few in the Australia pack, but the others are all animal related or the Planet Zoo logo. So this was the only more general sign. I think this is for roundabout, is it not? I think it actually is, but I would just say you need to turn around here because there's obviously no way to get through here. I think it works so well here with the fencing. And also like the mulch and stuff to just cover the edges a little bit here. And then we have a little burrow here. We have some natural logs also to just break the view a little bit. I think that works super well in a habitat like this. And then obviously some natural branches and logs and stuff. And we have like the backstage area right over here, which was pretty much open. And then at some point I thought, you know what? I think I just need to, I actually did move this one a little bit too far away. But if oh, you can see the little line. Oh, I cannot stand that. But yeah, if you just move this a little bit further away, the guests are not able to look into the backstage area, but yet they can still walk in here. Yeah, it's pretty plain here still, but I guess it's good. The guests will not see that anyway, so I think it works super well. Just have this optical illusion that this is pretty much one wall. But then if you stand right over here in the corner, you can maybe see a little glimpse of the backstage area. But that is just obviously not the idea. You should not see the backstage area. I think it looks so nice here also with the light from these glass panels just coming down in here. I didn't really pay attention to where I placed them, but just look how perfect the sunlight just falls on top of like this little enrichment item and then right over here and then part of the burrow. I think I did a good job in the lighting here as well. So we have some Tasmanian devil signs here. Then here is the platypus wetlands habitat, which I still so much love. So yeah, talking about the billboards, these are the wetlands billboards and it just works so well with the reed and stuff. Definitely such a fun habitat to build here. I actually forgot that we also have some desert exhibits right over here because in the previous episode we did move. Oh yeah, okay, this is the roof that I set. Like I don't even know. I don't feel like yeah, okay. It's not that much, but I'm just like, no, I just don't want to change it. Oh gosh, we actually forgot a little piece here of the roof. Well, I will fix that obviously. But yeah, exhibits are now officially moved to this area right over here. And yeah, I actually forgot. So I thought like these were the only desert exhibits that we now have in our zoo. But we have a few in the Oceania house as well, which is just totally fine, of course. And then we have a bunch of tropical exhibits on this side as well. So yeah, regarding our income, now this is sandbox mode. So yeah, it's still like the same statistics as we had in franchise mode with the money and conservation credits and stuff. But yeah, well, money is doing well still. So I guess we did a pretty fantastic job when it comes down to building a tropical franchise mode. I like it. I like it. The only thing I'm missing, and that is pretty much why I feel like I want to start something new, is more bigger buildings. I don't know if you just compare it with our mini franchise mode series or mini franchise mode. Yeah, sure, everything is franchise mode. But the African mini zoo, which had like some really cool bigger buildings connecting shelters of other animals, and I'm missing a little bit of that. We do have some buildings. Like this is a perfect example. Like, I don't know, when you look from above, I just love these bigger buildings. This one is also quite big, pretty even probably. And this one is quite big, but like these big buildings should pop up more, in my opinion, to have like this really cool overview of a zoo. So yeah, that's definitely something I would do different if I would be building another tropical franchise zoo or whatsoever, or a new zoo in general. And I think we are doing that already with our Eco Island Park a lot more. But yeah, it's definitely something I will do a lot more often in the future whenever we will be creating another zoo here. But I love how this is looking. I love these Oceania pieces, even though they don't really work super well for like the inside. I think we spoke about that as well in one of the episodes. Like, not a super huge fan of these pieces on the inside. I prefer plaster pieces, or maybe just split it off with different textures, maybe half of it being one and the other half being the plaster pieces. But you always have issues with doorways or windows. Why do I constantly hear people being stuck here? I've been hearing that even before I started recording, but I just don't see where these guests are. Just look at, oh man, I can't get over the road. I think it looks super cool. I really like it. But yeah, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I will be using these pieces a lot more in the future on the inside. But on the outside, they definitely do look super cool here. Super happy with it. So let's have a look at the Tasmanian Devils before we wrap up this very last Let's Play episode or speed build or whatever episode you want to call this for Tropical Franchise Mode series. I absolutely love the Tasmanian Devils. They definitely became one of my most favorite animals of the game. Even though I never really had them on my wishing list, so Frontier did a fantastic job with that. I don't really feel that way with the newest Eurasia Animal Pack, unfortunately. The swans are amazing, don't get me wrong. They're a really cool good. Trying to mix up two words, but there are really cool animals in the Eurasia Animal Pack, but they did not really achieve the feeling of like, oh my goodness, these are now my newest favorite animals of the pack. And Tasmanian Devil is definitely one of those animals that did really break my heart when we got them with the Oceania pack. So definitely some really cool animals. Love it that these are the ones that we are adding now as the final animal for our Tropical Franchise Mode series. So yeah, it's really time. I'm going to close this off. It's really time to say goodbye to this series for now. Obviously, do stay tuned for the last episode where we're going to do... Oh, look at these guys. They're all eating food here. Oh my gosh. These horses are just so amazing, aren't they? Yeah, okay, no, I'm going to wrap it up. We're going to check the animals out one more time in the final zoo tour, so definitely do stay tuned for that. Leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed it, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Just look how big the zoo has become. And yeah, I just really do hope to see you guys all in the final zoo tour that we're going to do of the Tropical Franchise Mode series. Thank you all so much for watching, and I really do hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys!